Hello and welcome to One Trinity Place in San Antonio, Texas. All set for Game 3, the rubber match between Rhodes and Trinity. Tigers with a one-game lead in the SAA standings. In first place, Rhodes in second. Rhodes taking Game 1 9-3. Trinity with a significant response, a run rule victory in Game 2, 14-4. Shepard, what should we be expecting in Game 3?
Well, we got Azordigan on the mound for the Tigers, and he's had a lot of success this year. Bit of an offensive explosion last game for the Tigers, leading to that big run rule victory. So, might be seeing something similar. We shall see.
Cole Isaacson joined alongside Shepard Tyler here on the roof of the Bell Center, right looking over Trinity University Ballpark as you see the lineup for the Rhodes Lynx. Brad Larson will lead things off, as he has done for the prior two games, followed by Corbin Martins. Cooper Angley at first base instead of doing the catching. Brandon Trishelle in the cleanup spot. Miles Kruger, Sam Reardon, Jace Trozo, Jeremiah Brown, and Austin Smith will round things out in the 9-hole. And on the mound, as you mentioned, Shepard, for the Tigers will be Matthew Azordigan. Azordigan on the mound, ready to throw the first pitch. And it misses low and in for ball one. You see the numbers for Azordigan, an 0-1 record. ERA just over 6 through just over 11 innings pitched. More walks than strikeouts, a chance to improve on some of those numbers here in this start. Trinity going for the series victory. Brad Larson in the batter's box. Takes the ball low, and he's ahead 2-0.
And for Azordigan, similar to Jake Beck, I don't think that the ERA and the numbers truly give a good rendition of his success that he's had this year. He's been a guy that they've leaned on to eat up innings, and at times had struggle with the walks, but overall been someone they've relied on.
Takes a pitch by his shoes, and it's 3-0. Larson with a home run in Game 1 of this doubleheader. Also reached by way of a walk. 1 for 3 overall. 3-0 pitch finds the zone. Strike one.
So quickly finds himself behind in this count. Gonna have to battle back here and try and give him something not too easy to hit, but doesn't want to lead off with the walk.
Here's a sharp ground ball on 3 hops. Ranging over is Lustina, who makes the throw in time. Tigers on senior day, throwing all the seniors in the lineup. Lustina at second base, and the ball finds him early.
Yeah, something we haven't seen in a while is Lustina covering the 2-ball over there. Seen him in left field a bit. Just tried to find a way to put him in the lineup, and today he fits in at second base.
Now it's Corbin Martins, who had a historic moment for the Rhodes program. Takes ball 1. Martins hitting his 14th home run of the year in Game 2 of this series, Game 1 of this doubleheader. The program record for single-season home runs. Called strike. Ridding not able to secure it with his glove, but gets the call nonetheless. 1-1.
It looked like that one had a little bit of glove side run to it. Might have cut it just a little bit, and I think that threw off Ridding.
One ball, one strike. Azordigan. Swing and a miss. Martin's well ahead of that one, and it's 1-2.
So Azordigan started off with a little bit of command issues, but since then settled in a little bit.
Swing and a miss at a ball in the dirt. That is strike 3. Ridding throws to first. And Baker's there to finish the job. 2 down.
And that's always a really nice feeling as a pitcher. Throwing one in the dirt, hoping to get the swing and miss, and you get it.
The breaking ball, the hammer in the dirt. The first strikeout of the day for Azordigan. He's gotten the first 2 batters he's faced in this inning. And now it's Cooper Angley, the catcher in the prior 2 games, but still wanting to get his bat in the lineup. Slots in at first base for today's game. Fastball firm in the zone, strike called. Angley, a .346 hitter on the year. Hit cleanup in the prior 2 games of this series, coming off of a 2-hit game earlier today. Has to get out of the way of a pitch high and inside. 1-1. It's one thing that's very easy to notice at the start of Game 3 is Rhodes really shifted around their lineup. 3 new players in there after the Game 2 loss, after they made no changes between Games 1 and 2. Ball and a strike. Pitch up and in again, and it's 2-1. Rhodes still wearing their black uniforms that they wore in Game 2. Trinity going with the blue, along with the pinstripe pants. 2-1 hitters count. This is popped up. Lustina goes back into right field and makes the catch for out number 3. The second baseman catching the pop fly. It ends a 1-2-3 inning worked by Azordigan. Sends us to the bottom of the first in San Antonio. Welcome back to San Antonio, Texas, about to get set for the bottom of the first inning as we'll run through the Trinity Tigers starting lineup. Leading off will be Caleb Woodward out in center field, followed by John Adrian Dioli getting the start at DH, hitting second. Will Baker after him, hitting at first base. And then hitting fourth behind him will be Grant Anderson at third. Michael Lustina getting the start at second base on senior day, followed by Matthias Ridding. Nick Jones out in right field. Cam Champness getting the start at short, and Evan Kuhl out in left. So every senior should get into today's game. Not a lot of them, only 6, I believe. We'll run through every single one of them, including the graduate students who are graduating. And we're playing their last home game here at Trinity University Ballpark. First pitch to Caleb Woodward is roped out into right field, and it gets down. This is rolling all the way to the warning track. Woodward digging in for 2, and he's there safely. So after reaching base 5 times in game 1 of this doubleheader, he's already aboard with a double. So Woodward aboard, and now it's John Adrian Dioli who will face Ed Anglin, the starting pitcher for Rhodes today, the junior from Charlotte, North Carolina, making his 11th appearance and his 6th start. Dioli digs in, takes a pitch inside for ball 1. John Adrian, or JA as they call him, making his 2nd appearance of the year. Does not have a hit this season, but is a dual sport athlete, the long snapper on the football team. Pops this one up into the screen and foul. Going against Anglin, who has an ERA just over 8. His last appearance came against Belhaven in the midweek game that Rhodes played this past week. Gave up a hit, struck out 1, no walks, no earned runs. Trying to build on that outing. This is lined into right field, and it's a base hit for Dioli, his 1st of the season. Woodward's being waved around. The throw is in time, and they get Woodward at the plate. Woodward never got his hand in and did not touch home plate. And he is out for out number 1.
And a good idea trying to send him around third, but just makes an amazing throw in from right, and they get him at home.
Jeremiah Bowman able to apply the tag, and there's 1 away. But Dioli on board with the base knock.
Yeah, got to be a great feeling for Dioli on senior days. Last home game, able to get a hit.
Will Baker now at the plate. 1 down, 1 on. Ahead 1-0 now. Baker hitting third and at first base, as he's done all year. Held hitless in game 1 of the doubleheader. Takes a strike at the knees. Some groans from the crowd at that call.
And Baker has had some tough 50-50 calls today. Not really gotten a whole lot of opportunities to swing at a lot of hittable pitches. He's walked and he struck out on a couple of really tough balls.
Baker chops one foul, rolling towards the Rhodes dugout. Now down 1-2.
I wonder if Rhodes might potentially have a scouting report on him, being one of the most prolific hitters in the lineup for Trinity, trying to avoid giving him something easy.
Very interesting defensive alignment. Baker fouls this one off himself. Has to walk it off a little bit. They have Reardon at second base, playing all the way to the outfield grass in right. They have Kruger nearly at the second base bag, still over to his side. That's at least somewhat normal. But then you have Trishelle, who's basically playing shortstop, over at third base right on the infield grass. So a very interesting alignment. Baker rips this one to left field. Going back and making the catch is Trozo for out number 2. So Baker able to get a good piece of that one the other way, but not able to fall. And it will set up Grant Anderson, a .361 hitter on the year. Anderson in at third base again. Tigers trying to bring in Dioli. Check swing. And they call a strike.
Yeah, he definitely went around on that one. Just couldn't hold up.
Outside 1-1. Grant Anderson coming off of a 2-hit game in game 2 of the series earlier today. Also walked, reached 3 times overall. The 1-1. Slaps it the other way, foul well out of play above everything.
And something we've seen out of the Trinity hitters this whole weekend is being very selective with the pitches that they're swinging at. We haven't seen them swing at a lot of bad balls, not a ton of swinging strikeouts, so been pretty selective. That's been at their advantage.
Dioli off and running. He got a great jump. Throw from Bowman, not in time. A stolen base for John Adrian Dioli, and it's his first of the season.
Yeah, Cole, for a second, I thought he got the tag on his foot there, but seems to have just slid right under it.
So now, all of a sudden, a runner in scoring position with 2 down in the inning. The 2-2 pitch. Fouled the other way again. This one on the roof. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not bad.
Yeah, 4 bounces off the pipes as well.
Kept its momentum. The 2-2 pitch again. Runner on second and Dioli. In on the hands, popped up. Is it playable? Hits the screen, foul ball. Back-to-back foul balls off the bat of Anderson. Tigers started this inning with back-to-back hits. A double from Woodward, a single from Dioli. Tried to send Woodward home, was nabbed at the plate, and now there's 2 down. Anderson fouls it the other way again.
Anderson doing everything he can to stay alive here, battling hard.
3 straight foul balls. The 2-2. Just off the plate and low. And just like that, the count runs full. The 3-2 pitch, 2 down in the inning. Dioli waiting on second, maybe the game's first run. Has to dive back. That throw gets away for a second, but not enough for him to take third.
Yeah, I don't think even if he noticed it right out of the glove that he would have had enough time to get over to third, but for a second he thought about it.
Takes his lead now at second. The 3-2 again. This is chopped foul. And third base coach Joey Deering makes a 2-handed play on that one.
Yeah, showing off the fielding.
Let it get an extra hop first, backed up on it.
That's called playing the bounce.
A long at-bat for Anderson. Another 3-2 pitch. This is hit into center field, and it falls for a base hit. Dioli being waved around. The throw from center is cut off, and it's 1-0 Trinity. Happy senior day to John Adrian Dioli, who scores the game's first run.
That's got to be a great feeling. Gets his first hit, his first stolen base, and a run scored, and his first at bat on senior day. This is going to be a day he's going to remember for a very, very long time.
And it brings up another senior as the inning continues. Michael Lustina coming up to the plate, hitting 5th today, starting at second base where he spent so much of last season. 256 hitter on the year as Lustina hits a fly ball to left field. Trozo going to his right, camps under it, and ends the inning. But not before an RBI single from Grant Anderson gives the Tigers the 1-0 lead. We'll head to the second on Tiger Network. Welcome back to the campus of Trinity University on Senior Day. Final home regular season game for the Trinity Tigers. Going for the series win against Rhodes in the rubber match. As Zordigan back on the mound. Worked a 1-2-3 first inning. And now faces Brandon Trishelle. Trishelle, a .246 hitter, hitting cleanup today, getting a promotion in the lineup. Takes a breaking ball low and away. Trishelle in at third base once again, as he has been for all 3 games of this series. Takes a ball in the dirt, 2-0. He was held hitless in the game earlier today. Did walk, so reached 1 time. Chance for his second walk of the day in the 2 games. Ahead 2 balls, no strikes. Pitch misses outside again. It's 3-0. This is exactly how Zordigan started the first inning. Falling behind 3-0, was able to get Larson on a 4-3 ground out. Strike 1.
Yeah, fell behind early in this count, but I think he settled into his mechanics a little bit, stopped trying to do so much, and was able to fire one in there. Hopefully he can fight back in this at bat.
Strike 2 called. Another fastball. So after falling behind 3-0, Zordigan forces a full count. Outside ball 4, and it's a leadoff walk. First base runner of the day for Rhodes. Gives us an opportunity to set the Trinity defense. Left to right in the outfield be Evan Kuhl in left, Caleb Woodward out in center, Nick Jones in right field, and then left to right in the infield, Grant Anderson at third, Champness at short, Lustina at second, and Will Baker at first, with a battery of Matthias Ridding and Matthew Zordigan. Miles Kruger now up to the plate. Takes a strike on the outside part of the zone. Kruger, a .264 hitter on the year with 3 home runs this season, OPS just under 800. Works with the leadoff man on first base in Trishelle. Popped up onto the roof of the Bell Center. 1, 2. Ooh, that just died. Only 2.
Yeah, that was somewhat disappointing. I was expecting more out of that one.
I don't know how that even happened. It had such a high second hop and then just nothing. You wonder if there's something on the roof it hit. Zordigan throws to first. Trishelle gets back safely. Kruger down 0-2. Zordigan looking for the first out of the inning.
And similar to the first inning, Zordigan gets the first batter to a full count and then quickly gets ahead in the second at bat.
Misses with that pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Wind starting to go a little bit.
Just a bit. Couldn't have a game at Trinity without some wind.
Wouldn't feel right. Felt like something was missing. Now it's back. The 1-2. In the dirt again. A nice block by Ridding.
And for our newer viewers, we've mentioned it before, but somewhat deceptive wind out there in center field. The flag's not really moving, but that's because there's a big line of trees surrounding them that sometimes block out a bit of the wind that the players in the field are feeling, but maybe not necessarily evident.
Baker has to leave the bag to stop that pickoff attempt from getting away. I don't know if the American flag can move right now. It looks like it's caught in a branch. It might be stuck.
Kind of like it. It's nice. It's giving it a nice little canvas.
It unfurls it a little bit. Pitching coach Dave Smith coming out to the mound to talk to Zordigan, who after going ahead 0-2 is now in a 2-2 count.
Do you think the trees out there in center field act as a batter's eye?
I think so, yeah. I think that's the idea.
You think that's why they're not required to actually add a true batter's eye, because they have the trees?
I think that's it, yeah. Because it has to be green or blue, and it's green. So, yeah.
Very green.
That'll do the job. I've never really thought about that, actually. Partly because we don't really go on the road. We only cover the home games, so don't really see the other ballparks very much. 2-2. Outside, and the count runs full. 3-2. The rare ball coming after a mound visit from Dave Smith. Zordigan in danger of putting runners on first and second with nobody out. The 3-2. In the zone for strike 3. Kruger thought he had ball 4, started going to first base, gets the bad news.
And it looks like a new strikeout celebration has emerged for the Tigers late in this season. I talked to some of the players in the middle of in between games, and they said it's brand new. They just started doing it today after strikeouts. The whole dugout starts swimming on the bar at the front of the dugout.
Always love it when they come up with something new. Ball in the dirt, nicely blocked by Ridding, throws back to first, but Trishelle gets back in time safely.
And there's that great defensive play we've come to know with Ridding behind the plate. Not easy for a ball to squeeze past him.
Reardon in the batter's box, sends a fly ball deep to center field. Woodward going back all the way to the warning track. At the wall, makes the catch right in front of it. Reardon so close to sending that one out of here, but just short, and Woodward's there to make the catch.
It's a great catch by Woodward. And I was expecting the wall to kind of body him there, but he laid a good hit into it. I saw the wall bend a little bit.
Would have been Sam Reardon's 6th home run of the year. Instead, he is out number 2. Jace Trozo now up. Trozo, a .295 hitter. Out in left field today, he takes a strike, and that just shows how deep Rhodes is as an offense, and the fact that this guy wasn't playing in the first 2 games. Hitting almost 300. Take strike 2.
And that's always nice as a team to have a lot of depth. Guys that you can look to, and potentially other guys that you start have had a rough day at the plate, or if you just want to get a different look, maybe get an extra lefty in there.
Trozo down 0-2. Ball in the dirt. Ridding can't block this one fully. And Trishelle will take second base standing up. Now a runner in scoring position.
And that one was really tough. Almost bounced behind Trozo. Ridding able to get over there and do his best, but knocks it down, just bounces off of him a little bit too far.
Trozo making his 20th start of the year in a 1-2 count. Inside out swing, foul ball into the screen and out of play. Trozo, a guy who started the season scorching hot, started it with a 10-game hitting streak. Had a hit in his last appearance against Millsaps this past weekend, and it broke an 0-for-15 stretch at the plate. Trying to get back to his early season form. Takes a pitch high and away, evens the count 2-2.
That is the difficult thing about this sport. You'll have really, really highs and real lows, and just takes one knock to get you out of it.
Swing and a miss. That's strike 3. Zordigan finishes the inning, has 2 strikeouts in it, and sends us to the bottom of the second in San Antonio. Tigers up 1-0. Welcome back to San Antonio, Texas. The bottom of the second inning, and Matthias Ritting set to lead things off for the Tigers. Tigers up 1-0 as they scored a run in the bottom of the first. And Ritting getting his first action of this doubleheader. First pitch from Anglin, swing and a miss. Ritting well over a 300 hitter this season. Been averaging about 380 throughout the entirety of the year, currently at 378. Gets out of the way of a pitch low and inside, 1-1.
And we've talked about it a lot, but you just can't mention it enough. The need that was required for this season after losing Nick Lazara last year. Huge offensive presence for the Tigers, and Matthias has filled that role incredibly well.
Takes a slider for a strike. Tigers going from one catcher who didn't care how his name was pronounced to another one. Common thing here.
I think it's pretty good for a catcher to be laid back. Not going to be mad if you throw one in the dirt.
Big swing and a miss at a slider off the plate. And Ritting goes down as out number 1. First strikeout of the day for Anglin. And it brings up Nicholas Jones. A .227 hitter so far this season with 14 runs batted in. Played in the first game of this doubleheader. Had the walk-off sacrifice fly to clinch the run rule in the 8th inning. Take strike 1. One thing I did this week is I went around practice and I asked the seniors and the graduate students their favorite memories while at Trinity, so I'll run through those. Nick Jones saying his was the whole experience of going to Cleveland for the World Series. Ground ball just fouled down the third base line. Said the whole run in general was really awesome. Everybody rallying together. Just a really special way to end the season. Also said that Mafia on the bus was very fun.
Mafia on the bus is always a good time.
Gets out of the way of the 0-2 pitch, now 1-2. Of course, now it's probably Mafia on the plane.
Yeah, I don't know how you would do that.
Sky Mafia.
Of course, there are some people that didn't like the Mafia games because they're so loud. They're having so much fun, they can't sleep.
Swing and a miss from Jones. He goes down swinging. Back-to-back strikeouts for Anglin. And it'll bring up Cam Chantness, making his first appearance of the series. Getting the start at shortstop, a .233 hitter on the year. First pitch to him. Cuts and misses. Strike 1. Asked Cam Chapness. He had a very similar answer to Nick Jones. Said the World Series was definitely one of his favorite memories, but also traveling back after winning any series in general is what he said. Said the vibes were always really high. People chatting and playing music. So he lines this one past the dive of Kruger into center field. It's a base hit. 2-out knock for Cam Chapness to get his day going.
So the seniors having a good senior day.
Brings up Evan Kuhl. 9-hole hitter, starter in left field today. He's played all 3 games of this series, still hitting at a .421 clip. OPS over 1,000. Kuhl reached 3 times in game 2 of this series earlier today. 2 walks and a base hit, takes a strike. Champness waiting on first with 2 down in the inning, has to dive back safely. Very mature senior class overall. A lot of these players have had their playing time cut down a little bit and taken it in stride and are contributing to the team however they can. Both Jones and Champness. Pitch misses outside, 1-1. Just shows the type of culture that's been created here and how they've helped to create that culture and continue it.
Yeah, no complaints from them at all. Really just putting the team before me. Excited to see other guys in their position succeeding and never complaining about not being there.
Pitch well inside, and it hits Cool. He's aboard for the first time today, and it flips the lineup over to Caleb Woodward. So Woodward up, 1 for 1 today. Led off the game with a double, was nabbed at home plate. Trying to score on John Adrian Dioli's single. Comes up with 2 down, runners on first and second. Take strike 1. Englund started this inning with back-to-back strikeouts swinging, but since then has allowed a base hit and has hit a batter. Woodward went around, and he's down 0-2. Runner on second is Champness. The runner on first is Cool. Ahead of that one and taps it foul to stay alive. Very dangerous situation when you have Cool as the runner on first base, because he is probably the most likely guy to be able to score from first.
Yeah, ball in the gap or even maybe a long base hit has the possibility of scoring him here, so got to keep that in mind.
The 0-2. Woodward pops it up, foul, well out of play. Onto the roof of the batting cages in left field. Woodward still down 0-2. Trying to deliver the 5th hit in 2 innings for Trinity. Still only 1 run to show for it. Fouls it into the screen behind him, stays alive. Woodward is not able to reach. It would be the first time he did not reach base today in 2 games.
It would be sad to see the Ginger Train get extinguished.
They try the back pick. Champness has to dive in safely. He does so. Reached base 5 times in game 2 earlier today, and already 1 for 1 with the double to get things going today. The 0-2. Takes a ball low. One ball, 2 strikes. And not yet. Champness has to dive back.
That one a little short. Good defensive effort over there at shortstop to knock that one down. Don't allow an extra base.
A really nice move. Got Champness pretty far off second base, able to get in safely. Second time they've tried to nab him. The 1-2. Takes a pitch inside. Evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That one might have been a little low.
The 2-2 with 2 down in the inning. 2 runners on. Swing and a miss. That's strike 3. Englund has to work around some traffic, but strikes out the side, all swinging. And it takes us to the 3rd in San Antonio. 1-0, Trinity with the lead. Welcome back to the campus of Trinity University. Tigers with the 1-0 lead, and Jeremiah Bowman leading things off. Bowman, the first year and native of Michigan. Up to the plate, takes ball one low. Jeremiah Bowman making his 13th appearance of the season, his 12th start of the year, a 200 hitter. Check swing foul. Just off the knob of the bat, maybe.
Yeah, that one's kind of scary.
Very close to the hands.
Yeah, almost got him in the hands.
1 ball, 1 strike. Pitch up and in. Now 2-1.
Bit of action in the bullpen. Looks like that's Will Hellings getting warm.
Swinging a foul ball right off the end of the bat. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That was the main change in this series. You're wondering coming into this doubleheader how the Tigers were going to be able to cobble their pitching together, having used 8 arms yesterday. And now all of a sudden they've managed it to the point where their 2 most high leverage arms, Will Hellings and Will Taylor, can both throw in this game. Breaking ball misses low and away, and the count runs full, 3-2. High fly ball, Woodward coming under it. Past the Trinity logo and makes the catch.
Resort again. Another full count to start off the inning.
And he's been getting out of them for the most part. 2 outs and 1 walk handed out in those situations. Now has to face Austin Smith. Average dip to 403, still above 400 this late in the year. Was at 413 to start game 2 of this series. Takes ball 1. Smith hitless in game 2 of this series. Did reach by way of a walk. That coming off the heels of a 2-hit game in game 1, where Rhodes won by 6 runs. Pitch misses out of the hand of Zordigan, and Ridding will come out to talk to him. So Ridding and Zordigan, just a meeting of the battery on the mound. Austin Smith ahead 2-0. Zordigan so far has been almost perfect, just allowing 1 base runner through 2 1/3 innings. Allowed a walk to lead off the 2nd inning. Other than that, has gotten everyone he's faced. Fastball outside, and it's 3-0.
Now, on the mound, didn't love that call, but if you want to start getting those 50-50s, you got to start being a little bit more consistent.
There's a strike. 3-1. Seen this more than one time today already from Zordigan, falling behind 3-0. Managing to battle back in the count.
But that cannot be good for his pitch count and longevity in this game.
Misses with that one, and it's ball 4. 2nd walk handed out by a Zordigan today, and it will send him to the top of the lineup. But he will not get the opportunity to go the 2nd time through, as it looks like that will be his day, as Zordigan pitches 2 1/3 innings. And it looks like he will leave this game with a runner on first. We'll step away while the pitching change happens in San Antonio. Welcome back to the campus of Trinity University. New arm on the mound for the Tigers is Will Hellings, the senior from Summit, New Jersey. Ground ball kicks off something and goes right to Baker for the out. I didn't even tell what that hit off of.
I think it hit off of Hellings' foot.
Took a nasty right turn right to Baker, who collects it for out number 2. Let's see it again. And yeah, I think you're right. Off the foot of Hellings.
Seems to be all right, though.
So that'll go down as a 1-3 putout.
That's Big Bad Bill.
Try the back pick. So Larson retired on 1 pitch, as it turns out, and now it's Corbin Martins. See the numbers for Will Hellings on the year. 4-2 record, 3.66 ERA through just under 47 innings pitched, 50 strikeouts on the year. Martins takes a pitch inside, 1-0. Corbin Martins 0 for 1 in this game with a strikeout, the designated hitter for Game 3 of the series. Pitch rides inside again, 2-0. So Hellings, a senior, I guess technically a graduate student, said his favorite memory was closing the championship game versus ETBU in that regional last year. Grounded sharply down the third base line, but foul. Goes down to strike 1.
And Hellings actually is a senior, but he got here the same time as me. So my freshman year, we were both new, and not everyone knew him, so there was a rumor going around that he actually didn't feel pain. So not surprised that that ball off the foot did not hurt him.
Pitch in the dirt, and it gets away from Ridding. Smith will round third as he easily takes it. Thought about going the extra 90, but not able to get there. Still the job that much easier for one of Rhodes' best hitters in Martins. Thought it was interesting that he said the ETBU series in particular, because he did close the Super Regional, where the Tigers punched their ticket to the World Series as well. This one gets away from Ridding, but not enough for Smith to come home. And Martins takes ball 4. He heads to first.
Hellings has had a lot of exciting closings. A lot of series where he comes in and it's kind of 50-50 how the game's going to go, and he comes in and shuts it down.
Been asked to serve a little bit of a different role, a long reliever slash closer, I would say. Comes in for what are basically 6-out saves. Cooper Angley up to the plate, 0 for 1. Slider misses, nicely blocked by Ridding.
Yeah, sort of a different role, bringing him in 3rd inning and hoping he can go. It's not exactly the position you'd expect your closer to be in.
This is lined past the glove of Lustina, and a run will score. Smith easily comes in from 3rd. And Rhodes has tied this game at 1. RBI single for Cooper Angley, his first hit of the game.
And Lustina, good job to get over there and try and stop it and knock it down, but just a little bit too far out of reach for him, not able to bring it in.
And that will prompt a visit from Dave Smith. A lot of hard hit balls off of Hellings, plus the walk somewhere in between.
No one warming up in the bullpen quite yet, so this is just a meeting.
You would expect that Hellings will not have a very short leash here. Will Taylor is also available and can pitch the back half of this game, but Hellings definitely a guy they trust out there, and a guy who it feels like he gets better when there's more people on.
Yeah, and it seems like with him, they kind of want to see him be able to get out of a situation like this. They don't want to pull him early, because if he can get out of it, he seems to just get stronger.
First pitch is a ball in the dirt.
He's one of those guys that the less things go his way, the better he gets, because he starts to get angrier and angrier. The velocity starts to climb a little bit, and his accuracy actually goes up.
Brandon Trishelle in the batter's box. Did he go? No, he didn't. Very close. Trinity dugout not liking that call. Trishelle ahead 2-0. 2 down in the inning. Rhodes has tied the game here in the third, 1-1. That run being charged to Matthew Zordigan. Pitch way up and in. As we know, Hellings has that nasty combination with a fastball in the low 90s and a slider in the mid 80s.
And that fastball has a little bit of arm side run to it, so not only is it coming at you pretty quick, but it's coming towards a righty.
3-0 in for a strike. 89 on that one. Three balls, 1 strike, 2 down in the inning. Runners at the corners. Strike called. Count runs full with 2 down in the inning.
And the jersey is almost untucked for him, so he's about to be at full Will Hellings.
Martin's on third, Angley on first. Swing and a miss, that's strike 3. Hellings leaves 2 runners stranded and sends us to the bottom of the third in San Antonio. Welcome back to San Antonio, Texas. Bottom of the third inning, John Adrian Dioli set to lead off the frame. Dioli 1 for 1 with a base hit so far today on senior day. Anglin still on the mound for Rhodes, pitching in his third inning of work. Dioli cleans that out for strike 1, a foul ball. Currently 5:46 Central Time. We've got about half an hour with Shepard Tyler before he has to go sing. Man of many talents. Swing and a miss for Dioli, down 0-2.
I guess they'll be streaming the concert on Tiger Network, right?
It's a triple header, and you're in all of them.
I'm in all of them. Our viewers at home are going to get the voice in all 3.
Swing and a miss for Dioli. He's gone on 3 pitches. The 4th strikeout of the outing for Anglin, 1 away. Brings up Will Baker to the plate, 0 for 1 today, but we can continue to talk about John Adrian Dioli. J.A. said his favorite memory was hosting the regionals his sophomore year. Said that they lost, but loved the week of practice before that because there was no school and it was just a really fun time where it was really just about baseball.
It is always nice late in the year when you get to focus on just baseball. School comes to an end, but your team is still playing. Such a great feeling. You got nothing to do but just play the game you love. Said that it was also a group led by some people he appreciated, a very senior-led team that year. That was the Colt Harris and Jack Peterson, Ty Preston. Yeah, a lot of great guys to look up to. Still see them sometimes come around to these games.
This is tapped foul off the bat of Baker. Down 1-2.
And I think I saw Will Baker's older brother, Jack Baker, who was a member
another one of those
class.
guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I saw him earlier today. I think he's somewhere in the stands.
Wish I'd seen him, would have invited him up. Baker gives this one a ride out to center field. Smith ranging over and makes the catch. So much range out there for Austin Smith, and that's out number 2.
Yeah, it's really hard to find a hole out there in center. A lot of potentially doubles that are being robbed by those wheels.
Now it's Grant Anderson up to the plate. 1 for 1 today, base hit that came in the first inning. Got an RBI out of it. Drove in J.A. Breaking ball low and inside. Ahead 1-0. 2 down, nobody on for the Tigers, and a tie game at 1. Breaking ball misses low and away. 2-0. Tigers with opportunities in every single inning but this one. 3 hits in the first inning, only got 1 run out of it. Left runners on first and second in the second inning. Anderson cuts and misses at that one. Probably our largest wind gusts of the game. Get to use the line. It just makes you feel like you're there. You hear it in our microphone. Usually that's a game 1 line.
Adds to the immersion a little bit.
Strike called on Anderson. 2-2.
Yeah, even the flags are moving a little bit now, so that San Antonio wind is picking up.
Usually does later in the day. Breaking ball in the dirt. Count runs full. Three-two pitch. Hit in the air to right field. Larson under it and makes the catch to end the inning. A 1-2-3 inning for Anglin sends us to the 4th. 1-1 between Rhodes and Trinity on Tiger Network. Welcome back to the campus of Trinity University. Will Helling's back on the mound in a tie game in the 4th. Miles Kruger up to the plate. Takes a ball inside, 1-0. Kruger struck out looking the last time he was up. .262 hitter with 27 runs batted in. This is ripped into left field and it gets all the way to the wall. One hops the wall and Kuhl has to throw in and does so in time to hold Kruger to a base hit. What a job by Kuhl in left.
Yeah, crazy that kept him to a base hit. I think part of it was just that ball was so quick. It was so flat. It hit the wall quickly and bounced back to cool. And with those wheels out there, he got it in super fast.
Leadoff man aboard in Kruger. And it sets up Sam Reardon. First year making his 21st appearance, a 300 hitter ahead of this one, and chops it foul. Reardon second on the team in slugging. No hits in his last 2 games, but hits in 7 of the prior 8 games to that stretch. They check on the runner at first in Kruger, who dives back safely. Trinity pitching staff's gone through some ebbs and flows. Numbers not as high as they were last year, but a lot of people behind the scenes putting that together. Beyond Dave Smith. Gets a bunt down. This is a really good one. And it stays fair. Wow. Wisely, Ridding and Hellings decide to let it roll foul, but it stays right on the line, and it's a bunt single.
I actually don't think that you could have a better bunt. I don't think it's possible for a better bunt to exist. That was perfect. Rolled in a really awkward spot where they had to just hope it was going to roll foul, and it just stopped right on the line. No chance of making that play.
And it brings up Jace Trozo, 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Drops down a bunt. This is another good one. Anderson comes in barehanded and throws to first in time for the out. The covering Lustina there to step on the bag.
Yeah, really nice play from Anderson there. Didn't want to let the same thing happen again, so he crashed on it super hard, makes a throw on the run, strong throw, and just barely gets the out.
But the sacrifice is complete, and it sets up Jeremiah Bowman. An opportunity with 2 runners in scoring position. Rhodes can take the lead. Bowman, a 192 hitter, 0 for 1 today in limited appearances this season. Making his 13th appearance of the year, a high throw on the back pick. Lustina able to keep it in the infield.
Good idea to try and get a creative out there. It's 2 outs with the runner on third instead of 1 out. It's a very different situation here with this dangerous hitter in the box.
Lands a breaking ball for a strike. But of course, a lot of people on this staff putting the pitching together that you see. And one of those is a former pitcher, Sean McDermott, who is also a senior. Important guy to shout out on senior day. Hellings drops a breaking ball. Lands in the dirt. Count 1-1. Sean McDermott said his favorite memory was actually getting to see one of his best friends, Zach Balbin, throw in the regional against Laverne and do a really good job.
That was a great moment.
Was it game 1 where the Tigers were up, I think, 9 runs on Laverne. Jackson Tier started that game. Here's a ground ball. Anderson has 1 play. It's at first, and Rhodes takes the lead 2-1. RBI ground out for Bowman.
Sort of served the role of a sacrifice bunt almost, like a sacrifice squeeze. It's a slow hit grounder, no play that you could make except to first.
And now it sets up Austin Smith, who reached in his only plate appearance, a walk. But continuing to talk about Sean McDermott.
Sort of entered a different role this year, acting as a coach, a pitching coach to help out Dave Smith. Certainly been a blessing for them out there in the bullpen.
Hellings fires a fastball for a strike. But Zach Balbin coming into that regional after Tier left after 3 innings because the Tigers preserved him for later in the regional because they were up by so much at that point, and he just didn't let the game get out of hand. Gave up some runs in that appearance. A bunt bid goes foul, down 0-2, but ultimately kept the Tigers with a pretty sizable lead and did his job.
Yeah, stayed in the game for a long time, just ate up innings.
It was kind of a reverse Matthew Mackey. I know Matthew Mackey predates your time in terms of what he did against UTD in the regional, but reverse situation of that.
I've heard stories.
Swing and a miss. Smith goes down swinging, and it ends the inning, but not before Rhodes tacks on a run. It's 2-1 Lynx. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th. Welcome back to the Alamo City. Sun starting to set, get a little lower in the sky as the clock strikes 6 p.m. Central Time here in San Antonio. Michael Lustina will lead off the inning for the Tigers. Graduate student. Gets out of the way of a pitch inside. Lustina 0 for 1 today with a fly out to left. Lustina said his favorite memory at Trinity was going to the World Series last year. And then he said specifically, as he grounds one very softly, Trishelle in on the infield grass makes the throw to get him for out number 1. But he said specifically hitting that home run in the Super Regional to ice the game and then the dog pile after.
That was a great moment.
Hit a 3-run homer in a 7-4 game in the clinching game to make it 10-4 and put it out of reach of McMurray. And I think everybody knew at that point that the Tigers were going to the World Series. Brings up Matthias Ritting. Ritting 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Has to duck out of the way of a pitch above his head. Lustina playing at second base as he did most of last year, on and off with Cal Coney at that position. Very versatile, playing a little left field this year. Ritting sends one to shallow center field. Smith coming in, but not soon enough. It falls in front of him for a base hit. First one of the day for Matthias Ritting.
And for once, a ball able to drop out there in center. Almost got to it.
Made it very close. I thought he was going to get it until the very end. He's given me no reason to doubt him. And it brings up Nick Jones, 0 for 1 with a strikeout. 224 hitter on the year. Another one of these seniors getting in the lineup. Runner off and going. Jones swings and misses. The throw is nowhere near in time. A great jump from Ritting, and he takes second base. Stolen base for Matthias Ritting.
Sort of looked like a hit and run to me. Jones swinging at a pitch, probably not anywhere near the zone.
Down 0-1. Pitch just misses. Not sure where. 1 ball, 1 strike. Waves at that pitch. He's down 1-2. Of course, one senior who was unable to get into the lineup today because of an injury that occurred in BP, Cal Coney. He's a senior as well today. Was honored before the game along with the rest of his senior class. As Jones flares this one into right field. Larson there to make the catch. No advance from Ritting. A strong throw to third.
Yeah, he's had some really strong throws from right field, and Matthias Ritting knew better over there at second, realizing who the ball went to. Probably not a good idea trying to advance and get an extra base there.
Coney saying that his favorite memory was winning the Super Regional last year, as many of these seniors have said, and it's understandable. It was a great moment.
Yeah, super big team building moment for them. Probably something that most of these guys are going to remember for a very, very long time.
2 down for Cam Chapness. Takes a breaking ball for a strike. Tying run in the 4th, waiting on second base. Chapness, 1 for 1 with a base hit. Breaking ball in the dirt, nicely blocked by Bowman. 1 ball, 1 strike. And only one more senior to run through before you get out of here, Shepard. It was an interesting memory that John McGowan brought up. Said his favorite memory was watching Will Taylor give up his first career earned run at St. Thomas last year. Swing and a miss. Chapness down 1-2.
Yeah, John McGowan, definitely a funny guy.
Leaning into the inside joke. Apparently Will Taylor's #1 fan. Swing and a miss. Champness is gone for the first time today. And that ends the fourth inning. We're on to the fifth in San Antonio. Tigers trail 2-1. Welcome back to San Antonio, Texas, the top of the fifth inning. Shepard Tyler has departed, going to sing, part of the triple header on Tiger Network today. Doubleheader of baseball and a choir concert that he will be singing in. This ball is popped up and will land in foul ground off the bat of Larson. Not a lot of foul ground between the bullpen in left field and the left field line, but he found it. Goes down as strike one. Larson 0 for 2 today with 2 groundouts. The last one coming when he hit a ball pretty sharply off the foot of Will Hellings, and it deflected right to Will Baker. So it goes down as a 1-3 putout. Larson, the leadoff hitter today, as he has been in the prior 2 games of this series, takes the ball low and away. Swing and a foul tip into the glove of Ridding. Down 1-2. Rhodes with the 2-1 lead. They have scored 2 unanswered runs after Trinity took a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first inning. Tigers out hitting Rhodes 5-3 so far. Swing and a miss. As did not expect what was coming there. Hellings with his first strikeout of the inning, 1 away. And it brings up Corbin Martins, the designated hitter. Martins with a strikeout and a walk today, 0 for 1 overall. Swing and a miss. Hellings gets strike one. Pitching into the 5th inning here after entering the game in the 3rd inning. Pitch a little low, gets away from Ridding. Nobody on to take advantage of it. Now a 1-1 count. 2 runs on the board for Rhodes. One of them charged to the Tigers starter, Matthew Zordigan. Another one charged to Hellings in the last inning. Breaking ball finds the zone for a strike. Now the 1-2 pitch. Martins waiting for it. 1 down, nobody on. Ground ball on a couple of hops to Champness. Fields and throws in time. And there's 2 away. as we're now joined by the executive producer of Tiger Network, Josh Michigambo, who's coming up.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I figure we'll take over for Shepard while he prepares to get us going on our marathon of broadcasting.
It's a triple header, and he's talking in all of them.
Triple header. We also had 2 softball games early on this morning. So
this is cleaned out and foul off the bat of Cooper Angley. 1 for 2 today. Base hit coming in the 3rd inning. .348 hitter on the year with 31 runs batted in. Nobody on, 2 down. Softball getting the sweep today. Back-to-back sweeps in conference play.
Sweet. They'll go for the full series sweep tomorrow, 11 o'clock. That'll be our last athletics broadcast of the year.
It's interesting that that's happening this early. It feels like usually we go pretty deep into the school year before getting to that. It's still a week left and all done.
Yeah, baseball and softball both finish up at Rhodes, and you guys have mentioned SAA conference championships happening elsewhere. So
this is a fly ball to right. Looks like it's playable, and it is for Jones, who comes in and makes the catch that ends the inning. Will Hellings goes a 1-2-3 inning in the 5th. Halfway through this one in San Antonio, Tigers down by a run. Welcome back to San Antonio, Texas. Bottom of the 5th inning. Tigers down 2-1 to Rhodes. Game that will have a lot to say in who wins the SAA regular season title. Evan Kuhl on the mound, or excuse me, not on the mound, in the batter's box. Takes ball 1. See if we get an oh yeah moment from him. Start out this inning. Pitch high, 2-0. Anglin's still on the mound for Rhodes into the 5th inning. Gotten much needed length out of him. Fouled off the end of the bat into the screen, 2-1.
Yeah, middle innings here. A big at bat for Evan. If he can get on, you've got top of the order with Woodward coming back up, and he's been electric all day long in this doubleheader.
2-1 pitch, fouled off the end of the bat again. Now 2-2. Kuhl trying to flip the lineup over for Caleb Woodward, who waits on deck. Tigers only with 1 run into the bottom of the 5th inning. The 2-2 ahead of it and grounds it down the third baseline, foul.
On the flip side, they've only given up 3 hits. Just have 5 themselves, but a defensive juggernaut here after that offensive slugfest in the previous game.
2-2 pitch in on the hand, slowly grounded. This could be trouble. Throw to first, close it but in time. Kruger able to make the throw that gets Cool out. A tough ask with how fast he is.
Just needed another half step on that one and he'd be safe, but good defensive play. And seeing that here throughout the 3 games from Rhodes.
As now Ed Englund will remain in the game for his 3rd trip through the order. Facing Caleb Woodward for the 3rd time today. Pitch way outside, goes all the way to the backstop with nobody on. Woodward getting his average back up to 400 with a double to get this game going. 1 for 2 today.
That was the pitch that you guys were talking about last game. Have it hit off the bricks and come right back to you.
The 1-0. Takes a strike from a breaking ball. Yeah, it's an interesting thought experiment just because of how bouncy that brick can be.
I feel that you've got to be almost perfect on that throw.
You really do.
So if you can make that, you should just handle the batter.
I think that's probably the right way to look at it. Pitch outside, 2-1. Ed Englund came into this game with an 8.41 ERA. Has done really well in this start in game 3. Inside out swing fouled into the screen. Talking to Coach Schreier before this series, asking him what his plan was for the starting rotation. This was the game that was the question mark, and Englund ultimately being the name that they decided to go with, and it served them very well so far. The 2-2 pitch. Woodward grounds this one, 3 hops to second. Reardon makes the throw, and there's 2 down. Brings up John Adrian Dioli, his 3rd plate appearance. 1 for 2, a base hit. He's also scored the run. That's on the board for Trinity, down 2-1. Swing and a miss, strike 1. I was talking to Shepard a little bit about senior day in general. We've gone through all the seniors' favorite memories throughout their time at Trinity, but I was wondering, since you've been here for a lot of years, if you had a senior day memory that stood out.
And there's been a lot of good ones. I think the one that probably stands out a little bit more than others, going back to the 2016 championship team, mostly because that team was pretty much all seniors. There were a couple of others, but starting lineup was heavily loaded seniors, and I think they had 12 or 13 that year. And so just, it's rare that you see a group come together and you have a class that big at the end. And then, of course, they were in the midst of something special there, winning their last 17 of the season to capture the title. But, just seeing a group that, had played together for so long, not just here at Trinity, but that group specifically, pretty much all from the same, area down in Arizona and everything, and how that came together. So that one stands out for some of those specific reasons. But I'll say it's bitter. Senior days are always bittersweet. We look at them.
Dioli hits this one in the air, left field, going back, and it falls out of play. 3 different Rhodes links there to try and make the play. Nobody could.
Yeah, just out of play. Another couple of feet, and they had out of play on that one. Because we get maybe 4 or 5 years to see you guys, and whether or not it's the baseball team or yourself and the students in the control room, and see the progression over 4 or 5 years here at Trinity, and by the time everything's really clicking, you're like, I don't want to see anybody leave.
Ground ball to third. Trishelle throws in time. The scoop from Angley at first finishes the inning. A scoreless 5th thrown by Englund, and it sends us to the 6th. Rhodes up by 1. Welcome back to the campus of Trinity University. Will Hellings back on the mound as he faces Trishelle, the third baseman, who fouls off the first pitch he sees in this at-bat. Rhodes with the 2-1 lead here in San Antonio. See the numbers for Brandon Trishelle on the year and on the day. 0 for 1, a .244 hitter on the season. Hitting cleanup today and taking strike 2. We're talking before the game, for this game specifically, about the difference between the consistency of Rhodes' lineup between games 1 and 2 and how they shuffled everything around for game 3. Swing and a miss. Trishelle down swinging. First strikeout of the inning for Will Hellings is out number 1.
What seems to be working so far? The 2-1 lead, and we finally have a competitive game amongst the top 2 teams here in the conference.
Was not trending that way to start. Tigers with 3 hits in the first inning, but only getting 1 run out of it. Miles Kruger up to the plate, takes a strike. Of course, the 9-3 win for Rhodes in game 1, and then the surprising run rule victory in game 2 for Trinity. And it's all culminated in this game 3, which has been competitive so far. Kruger takes a ball in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. He's 1 for 2 today. Strikeout and a base hit in the 4th inning.
The Tigers would love to have some of those extra 10 runs that they scored in game 1 of this doubleheader.
Hellings fires a strike, 1 and 2. This is often the case. I'm sure this is a universal thought among sports fans in general, just the reallocation of runs or points or whatever. Just move 6 of those from there to here. I'm sure Rhodes feels the same way about their game 1 win.
Trinity softball, I think they've lost 8 of their games this year by 1 run. So they would love to move any runs into those.
And plenty of run rule wins mixed in there.
So, but we've got, I think low scoring games kind of sometimes breed low scoring games when you get into that feel and that groove of everybody's kind of, the competitiveness starts coming back out for both teams, and the strike zone staying fairly consistent and everything else, and your pitchers start getting a good feel for it and getting into the groove, and we got 1 out of this 3-game series, so that's good.
3-2 pitch with 1 down. Ground ball on a hop to Anderson, makes the throw across the diamond in time, and there's 2 gone in the 6th.
And also strong defense here from both squads, pretty much all weekend, but especially today.
A really nice bounce-back defensive effort from Trinity after committing 4 errors in game 1. So far, none on the board in either game today. Now Sam Reardon will step up to the plate. Base hit the last time he was up in the 4th inning. As he lifts this one into right field, and it goes down for his 2nd hit of the game. A 2-out knock. Rhodes trying to get something going in the 6th.
And he's got half of Rhodes' hits so far today, so Trinity might want to rethink how they're pitching him.
Brings up Jace Trozo, the left fielder in today's game. 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Also dropped down a sacrifice bunt, but probably will not do that. Just my opinion. With 2 outs, probably not. As he swings at the first pitch and fouls it off.
Unless he's really good at throwing down the bunt, because you've got Anderson playing pretty deep over at third. You feel like he's the type of guy that's got excellent bat control on a bunt. Throw it down at any point. He might be able to leg out a single on it.
Ball in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Of course, Reardon, who's on first base right now, had one of the best bunts anybody's going to see all year. Tigers had no choice but to try and let it go foul, and just ended up right on the line. Pitch well outside that time. 2 balls, 1 strike. The 2-1. In the dirt, nicely blocked by Ridding. Saved a base, kept it in front of him. Runner on first, 2 down in the inning. Ball in the dirt, and that is ball 4. Trozo works a 2-out walk, and there's runners on first and second. And now Bowman will come up to the plate to try and drive in a run.
Trinity's struggles with 2 outs continue. It's really been their Achilles heel pretty much all season long. Just they can get to 2 outs and then let a guy on here, let a guy on there, spike a pitch, then it's second and third, and then things get away from you from there. Sometimes another pass ball or a wild pitch, and then pointless runs have scored. I believe sort of what happened back in the 3rd or 4th. I don't remember if it was the first or second run of this game, but it felt like that was the scenario for that one too. And if Trinity could shore that up, they might be in a much better position wise. Their ERA is still sitting around 5, and a lot of this will be unearned, but it's one of those things where if you're looking at what's left to go in the season, can they get back into the postseason? Those are the things that they need to be looking at probably the next 3 weeks.
The 0-2 tapped foul as Bowman stays alive, 0 for 2 today, trying to avoid going 0 for 3. And you're right, it's been 2 outs and 2 strikes specifically that have been the problems for Trinity pitching this year. It's something that Coach Scannell and Coach Smith have talked in depth about with us over the course of the year.
He didn't spike that 0-2 pitch, so we'll see if he comes back with a breaking ball down in the dirt.
0-2 here. Swing and a miss. That's strike 3. The second strikeout of the inning for Will Hellings. And he escapes the jam in the 6th. To the bottom of the frame we go on Tiger Network. Trinity needs a run. Welcome back to the campus of Trinity University. Tigers down 2-1 in the bottom of the 6th inning, and Will Baker will lead things off. Anglin still on the mound for Rhodes into his 6th inning of work as Baker takes ball 1 in the dirt. Baker 0 for 2 today with 2 flyouts in his 3rd plate appearance. See, Anglin's ERA has dropped all the way to 7.11. Was at 8.41 to start the day. He's had one of the best outings of the season for himself.
Started off a little shaky and got helped by maybe some poor decision making on the base pass by Trinity in the first inning.
Baker fouls that pitch off, down 1-2. Had a lot of runners nabbed on the bases today alone. 2 of them in the first game of this doubleheader, and then Woodward at the plate. I believe Woodward at the plate
in game
one as well.
Yeah.
Been very aggressive, and it has not always worked out. Baker stays alive, just fouls that one off. Was informed that his older brother Jack Baker in attendance today. Part of that group that me and Shepard were talking about from 2 years ago. Baker down 1-2. Outside, evens the count. Tigers out hitting Rhodes 5-4, but find themselves trailing by a run. We're out hitting the Lynx for the majority of the game earlier today and eventually broke through with 14 runs. Baker lifts this one to left field. Trozo under it and makes the catch for the out number 1. 1 down in the inning.
Well, the good news is we're starting to see the Trinity hitters staying patient, looking to try to drive pitches, even if they're the other way. You know, so it might just be a situation where if they can keep the discipline, they'll be in better shape.
Grant Anderson into the batter's box. Ahead 1-0. Base hit and an RBI that came in the first inning. 1 for 2 overall today. Did he go? Yes, he did. A swinging strike 1. Slider misses low and away, 2-1. Pretty nice crowd on hand today overall. I think it's thinned out a little bit from earlier, but game 1 and at the start of game 2 of this doubleheader, pretty filled in.
It's not bad. It is hard to keep a crowd here as we hit the San Antonio Heat for a doubleheader. You start to be like, maybe a 3-game series would be Friday, Saturday, Sunday would be a little bit better off, but.
Here's a ground ball, 4 hops to the shortstop. Kruger makes the throw in time, 2 away. Yeah, I don't get a choice. I'm just out here. Get the tent, though.
Get the tent.
A nice addition, if I do say so myself. Except for the times it almost blew away. That's what
happened. That's what happened to last year's tent.
Yep.
So we got a better tent.
Anchored it down, and we have the awareness. Take the tarp off when need be. Thankfully today, not a day where it needs to happen. Michael Lustina up 0 for 2 today. Takes a breaking ball in the dirt. 2 down, nobody on. Of course, the evolution of our broadcasts, going from my first year when we were in the control room to one day somebody, maybe me, had the great idea of, hey, why don't we go on the roof? It's a pretty nice view.
One day, potentially, press box.
I don't know about that one. Now that's too far. I don't know. A press box for baseball? No, that's not how we do things. 2-1 pitch. Lustina rips that one into left field. It's a fair ball rolling all the way to the corner. Lustina rounds first and heads for second. A stand-up 2-out double.
And again, I think that's kind of what I was alluding to early on. Their swings have been pretty solid. They've been able to drive the ball, and even with the 2 outs that we had here in the top of, in the bottom here of the 6th, they were both balls hit pretty well. One up the middle, maybe didn't get all of it. One that flew out to left, just didn't quite get it down enough on a line drive. But Lestina's shot right there puts them in a golden opportunity to tie the game.
Matthias Ridding with the opportunity, a .380 hitter on the year. Base hit the last time he was up. Takes strike one. Lustina the tying run on second base in the bottom of the 6th inning. Rhodes has had the lead ever since they scored their second run of the game in the 4th.
You've got great speed over at second, so you don't have to overdo it here. Just need to get out there, and I think maybe he was just trying to maybe flare something out into right field and then realize that slider was going about 8 feet off the plate.
Finds himself down 0-2.
Got a time violation here on him, and that's going to be a strikeout.
And Ridding not happy. And he's tossed. The Tigers starting catcher tossed, and now he's going to give it to him. Nothing left to lose now. Ridding not happy about the time violation strikeout. Either way, it ends the inning and sends us to the 7th. Rhodes with the 2-1 lead in Game 3. Welcome back to San Antonio, Texas. Top of the 7th inning after the calamity that ended the 6th inning. Matthias Ridding called out on strikes due to a time violation and then thrown out arguing the call. So now Thomas Moss takes over behind the plate, the defensive substitution, the first of the game for either team. Austin Smith will lead things off. Will Hellings back on the mound in the 7th inning. Took over in the 3rd inning. And you got to think that this has to be an interesting adjustment for Hellings, all of a sudden having to deal with a new catcher with basically no notice.
Yeah, we were talking during the break, maybe even about the rule. Like, if you still have a timeout left as a hitter, maybe that 2-strike, adjustment there should eliminate your timeout for the rest of the at bat, and then you go from there. I think it's harsh to basically say like a split second of engagement one way or the other is now a strikeout as opposed to let's just play. And then, the whole point of that rule is to speed up the flow of the game. And then when you call the guy out and you sit there and you have the back and forth about it, you're basically now taking up a lot more time.
Swing and a miss from Smith at a pitch well inside. Now a 2-2 count. I think the other thing we were talking about is how quickly did that clock start?
Yeah, because that pitch was pretty outside. So he was all the way out on the other side of the left-hand batter's box, and he came back immediately. It wasn't like he took his time coming back or anything else. So, I think that sometimes, in general, I think the rule is great. I think there's a lot of, positivity to it. But now at 12 seconds, he just barely got into the box. So, you know, if we're going to judge the engagement and everything else, should that have been a called strike immediately? Like, like it's starting to get a little tough.
Grounded very sharply down the third base line, but foul. Now a 3-2 count, nobody out. Very important for Trinity to get Smith out. 14 stolen bases this year coming into the series.
And you see it right there. He allowed him 10 seconds outside of the box before he even started the clock again. And so, like, at some point, like, the other one wasn't a foul ball, but it was a ball that got into the dirt, and you throw it back to the pitcher and everything else, and all of a sudden, like, that's an automatic restart of the clock. But the other one was, just okay, well, that was a foul ball. Hellings was looking in the whole time, and we're still waiting to say, like, okay, now we're going to start this clock. So, I think there's a lot of subjectivity in when that clock starts and doesn't start that is not exactly precise from batter to batter. So I think at some point you got to relook at those rules.
Smith aboard with the leadoff walk. He's on first, and obviously a very, very prominent stolen base threat. Lineup flips over. Brings up Brad Larson. 0 for 3 today. Struck out the last time he was up against Hellings. Squares up to bunt, pulls it back for a strike. It's 1-1.
And the last note on that too, Trinity's definitely benefited from that type of a call multiple times. Won a playoff game.
The infamous Jack Martinez strikeout with the bases loaded due to the time violation.
And and I don't know, like, take the win, but like, that's not how you want to win the game. It's not how you want to finish off an inning. It's just, I think everybody out there kind of wants to go about it in a different way.
Now the 1-1 pitch from Hellings. Runner off and going. Moss will have no chance to throw him out. The speed of Smith working again as he continues to lead this team in stolen bases.
I don't know. I think he called that a ball, and I think Moss came up and was ready to throw down, and when he didn't get the strike call, he hesitated. Yeah, that's exactly what they're talking about right here. So Moss basically hesitated because he called it a ball on a pitch that, like, let's look at the replay. Maybe low, maybe.
2-1 from Hellings in the dirt. Nice block by Moss. Have to move on from that play. As Scannell and the home plate umpire yelling at each other. Seen Coach Scannell have several frustrations with this crew over the past 2 days. 3-1 pitch. Inside out swing, fouled into the screen, and back-to-back full counts on Hellings.
And Hellings typically thrives under this type of pressure. We were talking about it last year during their postseason run through the conference tournament and the regional and the super regionals. You almost waited for somebody to get on base before you felt like he was going to lock in and do something.
Strike 3 called. Moss gets the call that time as Larson is sent back to the dugout.
Possibly a makeup call?
May have been low. Tough to tell from our angle. Pretty much the same spot.
So he gets one of the two, and maybe it balances out.
But now it's Corbin Martins. Throw to second. Smith getting back in time.
A dangerous situation here for Trinity pitching.
Martins has reached by way of a walk, 0 for 2 overall. A valuable insurance run out there for Rhodes, as you would not expect Trinity to be held to 1 run in this game. High chopper, but foul. Anderson there just in case. Strike 1.
Yeah, Martins has not found a lot of success getting on base here, but in game 1, if you didn't see it, he went ahead and set the Rhodes single season home run record. Planted one out beyond the left center field gap.
The 0-1.
14 on the year.
Hit in the air, deep to left field, but not deep enough, or excuse me, right field. Catch is made. Smith tagging to third. He's there safely with 2 away. So advancement on the base paths on the fly out to right field.
Still a solid job there from Martins. You want to get that runner about 90 feet away. That way, anything that skips past catcher, you've got a chance to add that insurance run without needing to actually get aboard safely. But we'll see how Trinity approaches the pitching here, because we talked about it before, where you've got situations where, 2 outs or even 2 strikes, and then you start looking for either a chase pitch or something else, and starts to get into a little bit of trouble as Dave Smith calls the entire infield in to ask about dinner plans tonight.
Something like that. Talking to Shepard, always something random sometimes, and I don't know, maybe some strategy involved in this one. Entire infield and the battery in talking to pitching coach Dave Smith. Arguably did the hard part. Martins flying out to right. Nick Jones able to make the catch on that play, but still an important insurance run at third base. Cooper Angley, the first baseman, the catcher in the prior 2 games, ready to step into the batter's box and face Hellings. Will Taylor is getting ready in the bullpen. We'll see how much longer Hellings goes. They would love for him to get out of this inning. First pitch to Angley, high ball 1.
I think if you're Hellings here, if you can get through this inning, that sets you up nicely to bring in Taylor to hopefully take you the rest of the way.
Ahead of that pitch and fouls it off.
But Hellings will tell you that he's good to go through the 9th.
He probably is. Talking to Will Hellings throughout the year, said he wanted to be more selfish with his role. That's what Dave Smith told him to do. Started the year as a starter. That didn't go as well as they would have hoped, but has found a nice home in very long relief appearances like this one. Slider doesn't land.
Yeah, hit the spot, but I think he's set up just outside.
A 2-1 hitter's count to Angley. Hellings trying to escape with the runner stranded on third. Fly ball, hooking, foul. As Cool will not have a play, strike 2.
That'll bring the crowd and the Trinity dugout to life here with 2 strikes.
Hellings escaped the last inning with a strikeout. Trying to do the same here in the 7th. 2-2 pitch. That's it for strike 3. Fastball on the outside edge. And Smith is left standing at third. Time to stretch in San Antonio. Rhodes with the 2-1 lead. Welcome back to the campus of Trinity University. A one-run game in the bottom of the 7th, and a new arm on the mound for Rhodes. It's Reed Manti, sophomore from Austin, Texas. Bit of a homecoming for him in his 15th appearance of the year. Nick Jones hits a high fly ball to shallow right field, and the catch is made by Larson for a quick out, number 1. So Jones gone in the 7th. So we can talk a little bit more about Reed Manti. 15 appearances, 8 starts, a 1-2 individual record, ERA just over 6. Last appearance, 2 innings pitched against Belhaven, allowed 7 hits, 5 earned runs, trying to bounce back from that one as he delivers a strike to Cam Champness. Champness 1 for 2 today. A base hit in the 2nd inning, struck out the last time he was up. Trinity, you have to think, is just happy to see Anglin gone. Not a lot happening against him. Swing and a miss from Champness. And I believe he's down 0-2. Yes, he is. A little confusing.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for. You like the last guy being gone, but now you're down to 2 outs here on 4 pitches.
Swing and a miss from Champness. Strikes out on 3 pitches. And Evan Kuhl will be the Tigers' last hope of the 7th. Kuhl so far in this game 0 for 1. He's been hit by a pitch. Only time he's reached. Strike called, as Manti has found a very early groove here in the 7th. No balls, 1 strike. Just high. It's a Tiger offense that just hasn't quite gotten going yet. 6 hits, 1 run, with 2 gone in the 7th. Kuhl gets out of way of a pitch inside and low. 2-1 hitters count. Haven't really seen this ever since the midweek games that we've seen. They scored 4 runs pretty early in that midweek loss to St. Thomas, 7-4 loss, and were shut out at Concordia in a 1-0 loss in extras. Slider misses, 3-1.
Such a big at bat here for Kuhl. He's got excellent speed, and then you've got Woodward, who's hitting near 400. So, you know, you can put together something rather quickly here.
Pitch outside, ball 4, and the 2-out walk puts the tying run aboard. And here is Caleb Woodward. 1 for 3 today. Started this game with a double, hasn't reached since. After he reached 5 times in game 1 of this doubleheader with 3 hits. 1 on, 2 down in the 7th. Woodward gets out of the way of a pitch high and inside, ball 1. The bullpen has mostly cleared out. Will Taylor in there, seemingly ready to go. Wonder if he'll be coming in or not, as Woodward smacks this, but foul into the Rhodes bullpen. John McGowan has also gone into the Trinity bullpen, but you would assume, having thrown in the prior 2 games of this series, he would not be coming in. Going to see his favorite person, Will Taylor. 1-1 pitch, not yet, as Baker dives back safely. Or excuse me, Kuhl.
Maybe going to remind him about that earned run he gave up last year.
One of his favorite memories, apparently. I was specifically instructed to say that. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kuhl has to get back safely again.
Now, I can't remember the details of that. Was that a inherited runner that scored, and that's why it was earned? Did McGowan give up the run for it, or
no? It was a solo homer.
Solo homer, okay.
1-1 pitch. Woodward cleans this one out down the line. Fair ball. No, it is foul. The first base umpire making the call that it is a foul ball. We'll see it again. Cool would have scored easily on the play. And, oh.
Yeah, live it looked like it hit the chalk, but
you would have to think that the umpire has
they've got a much better view than we do.
Cool was off and running and would have scored very easily. Goes down as a very eventful strike 2. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. That's strike 3. Foul tip into the glove of Bowman. And Rhodes escapes the 7th. We're on to the 8th. Lynx with the 1-run lead. Welcome back to the campus of Trinity University. The sun continuing to go down here in San Antonio. Shadows getting really long on the field. As the third baseman, Trishelle, will lead things off. Hitless in today's game. He's walked and struck out his last 2 times at the plate. Drops down a bunt. It trickles foul for strike 1. Will Hellings back on the mound for the Tigers. Shirt fully untucked in the front. So as Shepard would say, this is full Will Hellings as he tucks it back in. Stays in the game into the 8th inning, though Will Taylor is up and throwing. Ahead of that pitch, down 0-2.
Should probably preface, up and staying warm. Maybe one throw for every 3 pitches that we see out here live.
Ready when called upon. 0-2, swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts spanning 2 innings for Will Hellings, 1 gone.
He said earlier he thinks he could probably go through the 9th if it was up to him. He'll reach back and find something.
As now Miles Kruger comes up to the plate. Lines one into left field, a base hit. Turns to his dugout trying to get him excited. A valuable insurance run potentially aboard for Rhodes. Kruger aboard with his 2nd base hit of the day.
Another guy with 2 hits stepping up to the plate.
Second baseman Sam Reardon. 2 base hits in his last 2 plate appearances. Fouls the first pitch off, strike 1. One down in the inning. Kruger aboard with the base hit. Rhodes up 2-1. Has to dive back, does so safely. The rare pickoff attempt from Will Hellings. Haven't seen a lot of those from him today. Slider check swing did not go around. 1 ball, 1 strike. Reminder of this game's importance in the SAA regular season standings. Trinity 1 game up on Rhodes after their win earlier today. Swing and a miss at the slider, was ahead of it. 1-2.
Yeah, if Trinity finds a way to come back and take this one, they've got a 2-game lead with 3 to play and the series advantage, so they just need to win 1 more game to claim the #1 seed. If they lose this one, they're tied on record.
Did he go? Yes, he did. Reardon goes around, and it's the 8th strikeout for Will Hellings today. 2nd of the inning.
Trinity would be tied on record with Rhodes, but Rhodes obviously would have the series advantage here, meaning that their next series, they would just have to equal what Trinity does against Center. And so it's a big pivotal game here for Trinity to take at least a 2-1 series lead coming into this. 3-0 would have locked up the regular season title for them already in the #1 seed. But I think it's pretty safe to say that you're looking at the 1 and 2 seeds going into a 16 tournament, which means you get the game 1 bye, which is probably the biggest, most important thing for both of these clubs right now.
Chase Trozo fouls a pitch into the screen. Goes down to strike 1. Trozo hitless today. Has a sacrifice bunt and a walk along with a strikeout. Runner gets back safely in Kruger. His base hit sandwiched between 2 strikeouts that represent the 2 outs in the top of the 8th. Tigers down to their final 6 outs whenever they get to swing the bat. We'll see if it's down by just 1. Ground ball just foul down the first base line. Close call for strike 2.
Late innings, both teams just can't keep it inside the foul line.
Two down in the inning. The 0-2 pitch from Hellings. Misses low and away. Good take from Trozo. Looked like he threw in the changeup there.
Good pitch ahead, 0-2.
1 ball, 2 strikes. High fastball, and the count is level. Kruger, the runner on first. If he scores, it would be 3-1 Rhodes. Currently 2-1. Tigers hoping it stays that way. One of their best arms on the mound. The 2-2. In for strike 3. 9 strikeouts for Will Hellings, and they're all down by way of the K in the 8th. Sends us to the bottom of the frame. Tigers down to their final 6 outs when we come back. Welcome back to Trinity, Texas. Bottom of the 8th inning. Rhodes with the 2-1 lead, and John Adrian Dioli at the plate takes strike one. Dioli getting his first hit of the season in his first plate appearance of the day, and scoring the Tigers' only run. Looks at a strike, 0-2. Manti with efficient work in the bottom of the 7th. Now pitches the 8th as Dioli checks his swing. He says he got hit. Umpire investigating, and he did. Showed him the proof, the red mark on his arm, and he's on first base. Able to check his swing as Rhodes head coach Rob Schreier coming out to see what that was all about. Maybe thought Dioli went around. Looked like he didn't based on the replay.
Yeah, they checked down to first, and he said he didn't go around. So it was close. So I thought maybe they would have called the strike just because he went. So we get a pinch runner.
And it will be Pierce Matthews coming into the game for John Adrian Dioli, who has a successful senior day and gets a standing ovation from his dugout. A base hit, scores the only run on the board for the Tigers, and puts the tying run on base in the bottom of the 8th. Reaches twice overall. And now it sets up Will Baker, 0 for 3 today, 3 flyouts. Take strike one. One of the best opportunities the Tigers have had in these last several innings. The leadoff man aboard, nobody out. They check on Matthews, gets back safely. Trishelle seems to be ready for a potential bunt from Baker, playing all the way in on the infield grass. A lot of room opposite field if Baker wants to go that way, and we know he can. 0-1, Baker puts a charge into this one, deep to center field. Smith is under it, back at the warning track, and he makes the catch for out number 1.
Yeah, just didn't get quite around it enough. If he hooks that one down the line, it's probably gone, but dead center. And I'll leave it up just a little too long, and Smith to get underneath it.
And a rare day where there is almost no wind to aid that ball, as it sets up Grant Anderson with 1 on and 1 out as the only RBI for Trinity in this game. Takes a pitch low and inside, 1-0. Anderson 1 for 3 overall today.
It's wild. You go back to that inning in which Anderson had the RBI. Could have been 2 RBI.
Matthews has to dive back. Maybe caught leaning the other way a little bit, but able to recover.
And how big the out play for the first out of the game for Rhodes was, as they caught Woodward trying to advance from third to home all the way back in the first inning.
Matthews dives back again. Pierce Matthews with 2 stolen bases so far this season. He has been caught once. Trinity trusting him in a pinch run situation. The 1-0. Ground ball up the middle and into center field. Matthews rounds second, but will stay there. Runners on first and second. Off the base hit from Grant Anderson, his second of the day.
Tiger dugout might be a little frustrated that Matthews isn't on third. Third base coach Joey Deering was hoping that he would make the turn and get there. I think that that's a likelihood that he might have been safe, but I think at this point in the game, you've also got to be careful because you don't want to be another out on the base path. So it's, maybe a slight hesitation, but maybe it works out for you in the end. It's just one of those things. You got to be aggressive, but not too aggressive.
And that will be the day for Manti. Comes in the 7th inning, puts up a 0 and allows 2 to reach in the 8th. New arm on the mound for Rhodes when we come back. Tigers with 2 on, trailing by 1. Welcome back to the campus of Trinity University. New arm on the mound for Rhodes is Andrew Caron, a 1-2 record, 3.07 ERA through just under 30 innings pitched, and he'll face Michael Lustina. Takes a strike. Lustina 1 for 3 today, a double the last time he was up in the 6th. Caron making his 15th appearance of the year, trying to shut the door for Rhodes. The 0-1. Lustina fouls it in on the hands and at the top of the screen.
It hit the lights.
I was wondering because it came back in play. I assumed it hit the screen.
Yeah, I was about to say this is going to be the first time I get to see one bounce on the roof today, and no, I don't get to see it.
Lustina down 0-2. Caron fires. Outside 1-2. Andrew Caron, the junior, coming off of an appearance last weekend against Millsaps, through 4 innings, struck out 2, walked 2, and did not allow an earned run. Hoping for a similar outcome today. Going for a 5-out save in all likelihood. Takes strike 3 on the outside edge. Lustina goes down looking.
Yeah, Lustina doesn't like the call, but that was very much the same location as the strike 1 call. And with 2 strikes, you're going to have to defend against that in some way.
And it brings up Thomas Moss. This would have been the spot Matthias Ritting would have hit, but was thrown out of this game earlier. Moss took over behind the dish and will take his spot in the lineup.
We got a chance for something special here. Still available.
Ball in the dirt could have been trouble. Would have put the go-ahead run in scoring position if it got in the way.
Good defensive stop by the Rhodes catcher, but the Trinity catcher at the plate has had quite a day offensively. Missing the cycle in game 1 by a home run, and he flew out to the wall in his last at-bat of game 1, and still got a chance for the all-day cycle.
The 1-0. Slider misses, 2-0.
And if I'm basing anything off those first 2 pitches, I think Rhodes is fully aware of who's at the plate.
Pinch hitter has come out on deck in Callan Singhania. See if he comes up in the inning.
And catcher gets another time violation here.
Moss taking the time violation. A 2-1 count now, the automatic strike assessed. The second one assessed to Trinity today. 2 down in the inning. The 2-1. Called strike, 2-2. Same spot he got Lustina on. Two's on the board, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down in the inning. The tying and go-ahead runs both aboard. Moss thought about it, but checks his swing, and the count runs full, and things get a little more dangerous for Karen on the mound. Base runners will be moving with the pitch. Matthews on second, Grant Anderson on first. The 3-2. And the back pick attempt, no throw. Three and 2. Runners go. Outside, ball 4. And that loads the bases. They are filled with Tigers. And now the pinch hitter, Callan Singhania, replaces Nick Jones and will presumably replace him in right field. A .258 hitter on the year, making his first appearance of this series. Trusting his bat with the bases loaded and 2 down in the 8th.
Got no action in the Rhodes pen.
Slider outside part of the plate, called strike. No balls and a strike. One outside again. This time they don't get the call. Bowman tried to bring it back in. 1-1. Outside again, 2-1. Bases loaded, 2 down in the 8th inning. Matthews on third, Anderson on second. Moss waiting on first after his 2-out walk. Two hitters count to Singhania. Went around. And it's all 2s again.
Went around, might have been a strike anyway.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2-1 lead in the 8th inning. Outside and it's full. It had to come down to this.
Whoa. We've already seen that it's a game of inches, and now it's a game of 1 pitch.
Matthews, Anderson, and Moss all waiting. The bases loaded. 3-2. Outside, ball 4, and this game is tied. An RBI walk from Callan Singhania.
Just absolutely incredible plate discipline there.
And how close was this pitch? Outside indeed. And a pinch hitter has come on, and John Ramsey. Big swing and a miss at the first pitch. He replaces Cam Champness, takes his spot in the lineup. A .357 hitter on the year. And leads the team with 8 home runs, including 1 earlier today.
Beautiful breaking ball in for strike 2. Might have been 1 if you're sitting breaking ball. That would have been one, because that kind of hung in there a little bit, but it's been all fastballs.
The 0-2. Swing and a foul tip. Ramsey stays alive. Base is still loaded after the 2-out walk from Singhania. He's on first, Moss on second, Anderson on third.
That slider away again over here.
The 0-2. Outside, Rhodes wanted the call. They do not get it, and the at-bat will continue.
Like he went fastball but missed maybe a little high.
They've been working that outside part of the plate very consistently to all hitters in this inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 down and the bases loaded. In the dirt. The go-ahead run waiting as patiently as he can on third base. Some valuable insurance runs on first and second as well. Ramsey waits. The 2-2. Hit into left field. Is it falling? It does not. Trozo takes it away and ends the inning. Tigers leave the bases loaded, but not before adding the tying run. An RBI walk from Callan Singhania. And it's 2-2 as we head to the 9th on Tiger Network.
And I'm going to jump back in real quick. I know we still got 2 minutes left in this break, but I just want to thank you, Cole, for the 4 years that you've had here. We got to run down just a second and go get the choir stream started. But you know, it's been a pleasure watching the progression. And I said earlier, with seniors, it's always bittersweet because you get to see the progression, you get to see everybody make that stride. And I'm sure a lot of Trinity fans at home, and we've seen it from outlets everywhere else. You know, we try to have a broadcast that everybody likes to sit here and watch. So, you know, even for the Rhodes fans, we're hoping that you're enjoying the calls. And I think you've done a tremendous job of that the last couple of years, you know, kind of keeping in line with some of the seniors that have come before you and everything else. So, you know, I hate this time of year with guys leaving, but I just want to say thank you and good luck and congratulations with Syracuse Journalism School, and you know, just thank you.
Well, it's been such an honor to do this. Obviously, a lot of people to thank. Brian Yanselson and you, chief among them. All the other partners I've had up here on the roof and in the classroom. And thank you for setting all of this up. This doesn't happen without you and all your work behind the scenes. And I make sure to shout you out every time in order to make people aware of that. So thank you for all you've done, and it's been an awesome 4 years. So thank you.
Well, we'll enjoy the last of this 9th inning plus if it goes that far. And I'll get down. We got to get Shepard back on the air. So have a good one.
Thank you. That will be on the alternate cast, so be sure to tune into that one on YouTube if you want to watch Shepard and the rest of his choir members sing. As some people are out to check on Will Hellings, it looks like, the training staff. Something on the hand of Will Hellings. There is some action in the Trinity bullpen. Will Taylor getting ready. Not a bad option if they have to turn to him. But obviously the concern with Will Hellings, who came in the 3rd inning. Dave Smith going to his radio, and you wonder if that means that Hellings is going to be taken out of this game in the 9th inning. Gets his glove, and we'll see if that means he's staying in, and it looks like he is. 9 strikeouts on the day for Will Hellings. That is 2 shy of his career high, which he achieved earlier this year against Babson College. Struck out 11 in that game. His offense was able to tie the game in the bottom of the 8th, as Hellings stays on the mound for Trinity. Pinch hitter here, Shine Barron up to the plate. Takes ball one, a breaking ball out of the hand of Hellings. Barron pinch hitting for Bowman, who did the catching. Takes ball two. Back-to-back sliders out of the hand of Hellings. Barron, the designated hitter and left fielder in the prior two games of this series. And takes ball three. Hellings in danger of putting the go-ahead run aboard in the ninth. Strike called. The 3-1 pitch. Barron waiting. Swing and a miss. Maybe got a piece of it. Either way, strike two. Looked like he swung at a high fastball. And Hellings, after falling behind 3-0, has battled back to force the full count. The 3-2. Line the other way, but foul well out of play above everything. Barron put in a big spot. Had 7 appearances before this series, now has appeared in all 3 games of this series. The 3-2. Inside ball 4, and the go-ahead run is aboard for the Lynx. The leadoff walk handed out by Hellings, who fell behind 3-0. And now you get to the dangerous part of this lineup. And it starts with the 9-hole hitter, Austin Smith, who's hitting over 400 on the season. Smith walking back to his dugout temporarily, a little bit of a delay. And it looks like they'll call timeout for a quick meeting. Head coach Rob Shire calling Barron over along with Smith to discuss something. Shire will head back to third base to be the third base coach, as he usually is. It's a tie game in the 9th inning, and you knew one of these games would come down to it like this. 2 blowouts, one by Rhodes, one by Trinity. This the rubber match, and it's everything we could have asked for. And here's Smith. Tries to bunt, pulls it back. Actually has to sit down to get out of the way of a high pitch that was inside. Finds himself in a 1-0 count. Smith has reached both times he's been up today with 2 walks. Tries to get down the bunt again, pulls it back, a strike called. Smith looked like he did not agree with that call. Frozen in some disbelief to start there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner on first, nobody out. Gets down the bunt, pushes it, foul. And the count is 1-2. So unable to get the bunt down in the first 3 pitches he sees. And now bunting presumably out of the question. The 1-2. Inside, and it hits him. Tried to drop down the bunt with 2 strikes anyways, but no need to do that. Reaches with the hit by pitch. Back-to-back base runners that Hellings has allowed to reach to start the 9th. And now it's Brad Larson as the lineup flips over for Rhodes. The starting right fielder today, 0 for 4, struck out the last 2 times he's been up against Hellings. Dave Smith starts his walk out And that will be the day for Will Hellings. Allows the first two to reach in the 9th inning. And his day is done. Will Taylor coming in when we come back on Tiger Network. This is a tie game at 2 in the 9th. Welcome back to the Alamo City. The sun has mostly left the field and a new arm is on the mound. It's not the lefty we expected. It's Brandon Morio. Comes in with a 2-1 record. ERA just over 5 through 28 1/3 innings pitched. About a 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio as he faces Larson. And misses with ball 1. Runners on first and second, nobody out. As Will Hellings departs this game after entering in the 3rd inning. Brandon Morio taking over. Larson gets the bunt down. Morio, some indecision on who to field it, and everybody is safe. Morio charged in, looked like he had it. Anderson was there too. And in the end, nobody throws to first. And that loads the bases with nobody out, and now another pitching change. Brandon Morio comes in and faces one batter. And now it looks like Will Taylor is coming in a much stickier situation. The bases loaded, nobody out when we come back. Welcome back to One Trinity Place in San Antonio, Texas. Will Taylor is the new arm on the mound for the Tigers, making his 16th appearance. Comes in with a 5-1 record, a 4.89 ERA, but most of that because of his only start that he made this year, an inning and 2/3 pitch against Sewanee in his last appearance. 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, and 5 earned runs. He faces Corbin Martins, who takes ball 1. Comes into a situation with the bases loaded and nobody out, facing arguably Rhodes' best hitter, a .331 hitter with 14 home runs on the season, the program record. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. The infield is completely in all the way around, and they will attempt to cut down the go-ahead run at home if they get the opportunity. This is chopped off Martins and foul. Some defensive substitutions to note. John Ramsey taking over at shortstop for Cam Chapness after pinch hitting for him. And Callan Singhania taking over in right field. The 1-2 pitch after the foul ball. It's upstairs, 2-2. The 2-2. In the dirt, 3-2. Taylor in danger of walking in the go-ahead run. Rhodes can smell it. Their first lead since Trinity tied the game in the 8th. The 3-2, pressure on Taylor to throw a strike. Inside, ball 4, and Rhodes has the lead. The bat flip after the walk, they're up 3-2. 4 consecutive lengths have reached. As Martins did not offer at the 90-mile-per-hour fastball inside. And now it's Cooper Angley, first baseman today, 0 for 3. Ball in the dirt, nicely blocked by Moss. Angley actually 1 for 4 today. Base hit that came in the 3rd inning, struck out the last time he was up. Bases loaded, nobody out still. Rhodes with the 3-2 lead, top of the 9th. Infield remains in for Trinity. Pitch high and inside. 2-0. Tigers just trying to get their first out and go from there. They will be down to their final 3 outs one way or another. Did he go? And the home plate umpire says yes. Went around. Goes down as strike 1, a 2-1 count with the bases loaded. Smith on 3rd, Larson on 2nd, Martins on 1st. The 2-1. Swing and a foul tip, 2-2. Taylor battles back. Game that could decide who wins the SAA regular season title. Has a playoff feel to it, and it has for all of Game 3. The intensity has gone up as the series has gone on. Here's a high fly ball. Woodward under it. Is it deep enough to send Smith with his speed? Probably. The throw will be not in time, and it's 4-2. A sacrifice fly for Cooper Angley brings in a valuable insurance run for the Lynx. Some smart baseball for Rhodes. One down in the inning. Runners now on 1st and 2nd. Brandon Trishelle, 0 for 3 today. Struck out the last 3 times he's been up. He's also walked. Waves at that pitch. 0-1. Infield now backs up to double play depth. Trying to maybe end the inning that way. Fouled into the screen behind him. Trishelle down 0-2. Will Hellings now on the hook for the loss should the score hold. Charged with both runs that have scored in this inning. After a tremendous outing in mid-relief where he struck out 9 batters. Taylor misses with that pitch. Upstairs, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ball in the dirt, blocked by Moss. Levels the count at 2-2. Runners on first and second. Larson and Martins respectively. The 2-2 pitch with 1 away. Ground ball, Anderson picks it on the dive. Throw to second for 1. On to first, it's not in time. Trishelle beats it out to keep the inning going, but Trinity gets an out. So the third baseman reaching on a fielder's choice puts runners at the corners. Still a chance for Rhodes to extend the lead. And it's Miles Kruger coming up to the plate. A 2-hit game today, including a base hit the last time he was up in the 8th. Ball misses in the dirt. Runner goes to second. Got to go and get the back door. And the tag is not in time. The ball slips out of the hand of Moss. Trishelle tries to steal second, holds up, tries to let Martin score from third. The throw in time, but Moss could not hang on to the ball, and it's 5-2 Lynx. (1-0) from Taylor. Strike called. Swing and a miss. 1-2. The third run of this inning charged to Brandon Morio, who came in and faced 1 batter. Scored after getting a bunt single. Went around, and they say he didn't. First base umpire saying that Kruger did not go around. Looked like he did from my angle. Goes down as ball 2. The 2-2 pitch with 2 down in the inning. High, ball 3, and Trishelle takes third. Rhodes already with a crooked number in the inning. 3 runs in the 9th after Trinity tied it in the 8th at 2. Going for their 4th. The 3-2 pitch. Kruger takes strike 3, goes down looking, and that ends the inning, but not before Rhodes puts up 3 on the board. They're 3 outs away from tying Trinity for first place in the conference. We'll be back on Tiger Network. Welcome back to San Antonio, Texas, on the campus of Trinity University. Bottom of the 9th inning. Tigers down to their final 3 outs and down 3. Evan Kuhl will lead things off, the left fielder. It'll be him, then Woodward, and Pierce Matthews all due up. And they'll face a new arm on the mound for Rhodes. It's Will May who fires ball 1. May, the senior from Atlanta, Georgia, making his 14th appearance of the year, and the numbers pretty outstanding. A 2.05 ERA, 22 innings pitched, and 3 saves for Rhodes. Pitch misses inside, falling behind 2-0 early. A guy who you would assume we would have seen eventually in this series, waiting for a save situation, and that's exactly what Rhodes finds themselves in. Chance to get the final 3 outs and send him home with a series victory. Slider misses low and away, falling behind 3-0 to Kuhl. The 3-0. Inside ball 4, and it is a 4-pitch walk. Evan Kuhl aboard with his 2nd walk of the game. And a little bit of a dispute on the field. I believe the Trinity dugout saying he stepped in the dugout. And it'll prompt a mound visit for Rhodes, a full infield and battery visit. And Coach Scannell will talk to the home plate umpire. Not quite sure what the disruption was on the field. And he will call all 3 umpires in for a consultation. Kuhl aboard with the 4-pitch walk. And now discussing, I believe, whether the Rhodes catcher stepped into the dugout or not. Or maybe whether the ball rolled into the dugout. They did not. And Kuhl will stay at first base. Brings up Caleb Woodward. 1 for 4 today, a double in the 1st inning. Outside, ball 1. The 5th pitch in a row that is missed. It's been defensive substitution for Rhodes. Cooper Angley now behind the plate at catcher, and Ben Daniel takes over at first base. There's the first strikeout of the inning for May. Now 1-1. They check on Kuhl, gets back safely. Shows you how valuable those insurance runs were in the top of the 9th inning. Kuhl definitely a threat to steal, but they have to be conservative with them. They need a lot more base runners than just Evan Kuhl. Down 3, the 1-1. Outside, and a 2-1 hitter's count. Sun has almost completely set in San Antonio. The lights starting to take effect in the bottom of the 9th. The 2-1. Woodward waves at that one, and it's 2-2. Fooled by the breaking ball. May looking for his first out. Trishelle playing a little bit in at third base. The 2-2. Slapped the other way into the screen, and Woodward stays alive. Guy who reached 5 times in the first game of this doubleheader, game 2 of the series. 3-hit day for him. He's only reached base once in game 3. Big reason why the Tigers only have 2 runs, despite 7 hits. The 2-2. Woodward taps it foul again. Pierce Matthews, the bat waiting on deck. See if he gets an opportunity with 2 on and nobody out. The 2-2. Fouled off again. 3rd foul ball in a row off the bat of Woodward. Tigers have pulled stuff off like this before. Game 3 last year against McMurray. We're down multiple runs in the 9th inning and scored without recording an out. 2-2. Low and inside, and the count runs full. A grinding at bat from Caleb Woodward. Three balls and 2 strikes. May looking for the first out, checks on Cool. He's back safely. The 3-2. Takes strike 3. Woodward goes down looking. 1 down in the 9th. And now it's Pierce Matthews coming up to the plate. Matthews making his first appearance of the season after pinch running for John Adrian Dioli, or excuse me, first appearance of the series. A 167 hitter on the year. Matthews hits one to left field. It's falling, and it's good. Falls into left center field for a base hit, and the tying run will come to the plate in the form of Will Baker. Just a flare out into left center field. Falls in front of Trozo out in left. Smith couldn't get to it in center either. And now it's Baker with 1 down in the 9th. Strike called. Baker 0 for 4 today. Has flown out in all 4 plate appearances. Pitch just misses from May. If this score holds, Rhodes starter Anglin would get the win. 5 innings pitched, only allowed 1 run. Will Hellings would take the loss. Trinity trying to avoid that. May trying to get the save. Baker fouls it off out of play. And it's 1-2. Ball in the dirt. Count level. Cool, the runner on second. Matthews on first. Baker, the tying run. Trying to find a way to at least load the bases. 2-2. Inside pitch. Rhodes dugout wanted the call. They do not get it. And the count runs full. The countdown count. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out in the 9th. Runners on first and second. May getting ready. Baker's ready too. The 3-2. Low and away, ball 4. And the tying run is aboard in the 9th inning. And it's all set up for Grant Anderson. Bases loaded, 1 down. 2 walks and a base hit to load the bases for Trinity. Grant Anderson, a 2-hit day already. 2 for 4. Has an RBI. Base hit the last time he was up in the 8th inning. takes a strike. Anderson, a .366 hitter. The sophomore who's cemented himself as the cleanup hitter in this lineup. The game can end on one swing either way. Anderson grounds one up the middle. This could do it, but it gets into center field. One run is in. Here comes Matthews. The throw to third. Gets away for a second, but 2 runs have scored. Looked like a double play ball all the way. Instead, it's a disaster. The E6 from Kruger at the worst time. And Anderson, who represents the winning run, goes all the way to second base. And now it's another pinch hitter in Sawyer Haynes. One down in the inning. The infield will come in for Rhodes. Haynes, it's a fly ball, drifting foul out of play for strike 1. After surrendering 3 runs in the top of the 9th, the Tigers have set themselves up, down 1. The tying run on third in Baker, the winning run on second in Anderson. Inside and low, 1-1. Will May has allowed 1 run in his last 12 innings pitched, a stretch that spanned 9 appearances. He's already allowed 2 today and throws ball 2 there. Both of those runs, you would presume, unearned when it's all said and done. The first error for either team in this game. The 2-1. Swing and a miss. Haynes trying to end the game right there. Two balls, 2 strikes. Infield remains in for Rhodes. Outside, and it's full again. A 9th inning that has been an adventure. It started with a leadoff walk, and since then, 3 consecutive have reached. The most recent coming on the E6 off the bat of Grant Anderson. He waits on second as the winning run. The 3-2 to Haynes. Swing and a miss, that's strike 3. 2 down in the 9th. And now it's up to Thomas Moss. Comes up with 2 down in the 9th. 1 plate appearance today, he's walked. And they're going to put him on. Rhodes assessing an intentional walk to Thomas Moss that loads the bases, understanding that his run doesn't matter. And they will opt to pitch to Jack Spence. Spence making his first appearance of the series. .313 hitter on the year in 11 appearances. That coming in 16 at-bats. He has 4 runs batted in. 2 more here would win the game. The base is loaded. 2 down in the 9th. Strike 1. In the dirt. A nice block by Angley. His job at its most important right now with the tying run on third. Tigers left the bases loaded in the bottom of the 8th, trying to avoid it in the 9th, the 1-1. Ground ball to first. This could do it. The covering May, and Rhodes has won. They escape San Antonio with a series victory. And the Tigers' comeback win falls just short. As the Rhodes Lynx now control their own destiny, trying to clinch the regular season SAA title next weekend. They would do so with a sweep, regardless of what happens in Trinity series at center, as Rhodes will host Barry in Memphis next weekend. As that will likely be the last home game for the Trinity seniors as they get saluted by the home crowd. Two sides will now shake hands. The winning pitcher, Anglin, he threw the first 5 innings of this game. The losing pitcher, Will Hellings, 2 runs scored in the 9th inning, charged to him. And the save for Will May, he picks up his 4th save of the year, even if it was an adventure. That'll do it for us here in San Antonio. I wanted to say a quick thank you to a lot of people. Of course, I already said thank you to Josh and Brian Janselson and all my broadcast partners who have been up here with me. It's been a great pleasure these last 4 years. Reed Rosales, Luke Terry among them, and Shepard Tyler this year, of course. It's been a great pleasure to be on the air with them and to broadcast all of these incredible moments. We always tried to make the broadcast as good as possible, both for home fans and visiting fans, and we hope that everybody enjoyed listening over the past 4 years. It's been a real pleasure, and I look forward to watching this team in the future. That'll do it for us here in San Antonio, Texas. I'd like to thank Ariel Monson, who was working on camera, everybody working in the control room. I know Allison and Craig were in there today, and of course Josh Michigemba, who puts it all together. For Josh Michigemba and Shepard Tyler, who both joined me today, for the final time, signing off, brought to you by way of fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm Cole Isaacson saying so long from San Antonio.